Hi everyone, I hope everyone is well, and thank you so much for being here on a Sunday evening when all you want to do is just laze around in bed or on the sofa and watch Netflix. But I guess Netflix has been part of our lives for the last almost 2 years, ever since COVID is in our lives. So let's give a break to Netflix today. Let's give a small break to our couches and our beds and get up and do something more fruitful, which is fitness, well-being, and health. So Sanjeet has already explained, and thank you for that lovely introduction, Sanjeet. Most overwhelming. Yeah, I've been into the field of fitness for more than 2 decades now, and since I've been into the field of fitness for more than 2 decades, it's but natural that it's just a passion or my first love, as you may call it. This what you see in the background is my studio. I am in the gym, and luckily I stay in the same building as where my gym is, so I just have to go up a flight of stairs. And I wanted all of you to see it's Sunday, so there is no class happening over here, and it's very quiet and nice. So all those of you who do not visit the gym regularly or have not been visiting the gym regularly because of COVID or because the gyms were shutting down, it's really time for you to get up and start going. However, if there is a concern that you cannot be in the gym or you don't have access to the gym or whatever concern you may have, there is a lot that you can do at home. A lot. All you need is maybe 2 water bottles filled with water or 2 napkins. That's all you'll need, and you can start your fitness journey right here at home. So whether you are starting new or you've already been into the field of fitness and are just renewing the whole thing again because for the last 2 years you've not been able to do something, or if you have recovered from COVID recently like I have, this is exactly 2 weeks to my COVID recovery. This session is just for you. So guys, I want this session to be very interactive. Ask me a lot of questions, chew my brains, do whatever you want to do. Let's have fun in this session. So I request everyone to have their videos on. I'd really like to see whom I am talking to. Please be nice and put your videos on. Even if you are in your pajamas, I don't care really. I mean, I was also in my pajamas a few minutes back. And since I'm presenting the session to you, it requires me to wear workout clothes, but please put your videos on so we can talk more, we can exercise more, and we can laugh more. Even if we have to laugh at each other, it's good. Laughter is a therapy also. It opens up your muscles, it gives you the good mood, enhances your endorphins. So let's just laugh, have a lot of fun, and see what fitness we can do at home. Nice, Ankita, Aparna, Sakshi. Okay, so so these are only 4 or 5 people who are brave enough to put their videos on. Guys, give me a thumbs up if you'd like to move a little bit, just to learn the proper forms of the exercises. Because thank you, Ankita, because it's very extremely important that whatever you do it in the correct form. Like if you it's just a matter that when you do something which is not right in fitness, the exercise is not performed correctly, you may land up with injuries, or you may not be able to target the necessary muscle group. So it's important that your form and technique is right. So that's why I want your videos on, so that I can help you as much as I can today over Zoom. Though it's not the same thing helping in the studio and helping on Zoom. But I just want to try my best and pass my love for fitness to all of you, and hoping that this session is going to be very fruitful to you and you will be inspired to lead a more fitter, healthier lifestyle. Okay, any questions so far? Anything that you would like me to cover in this session, especially anywhere where you're lost? Anyone? Else we'll just start with a quick workout session, what you can really do at home.
How to reduce the back pain?
Okay, good one. So let's have, how many of you are working from home and are glued to your computers and your laptops and sitting on the chair for 8 hours? Most of you work from home since 2 years. So I am sitting on this chair. I'm just going to change my camera angle and show you what happens when you sit on the chair for 8 hours. 1 second. Give me, just give me, you know, you will have to spotlight my video for some time. Sanjeet, can you please spotlight my video for everyone?
You're already on spotlight.
Okay. So see what happens. This is the way, can you see my back? Yeah. This is the way our back is. It's like an S curve, okay? This is how it works to the fullest of its advantage. This is how your muscles support your spine. Okay, now what happens when you are on the computer? Tuck. You see this? This is what happens. And this is the number one cause of the back pain that most people who have been working from home and are on their desks and have not done anything about fitness. This is the most important reason. The second reason that everybody is suffering from back pain is people are not stretching enough. So the hamstrings are getting tight and pulling on the back. So it's not you alone that is suffering from back pain. I've seen a lot of people with back and shoulder pain during the last 2 years. Simple thing what you need to do is move around a lot. Every 30 seconds, get up from your chair, take a walk, and there are a lot of exercises which you can do on the chair itself. So do those exercises because these are chronic injuries and they can lead to bigger problems. So nip them in the bud. So we'll do a couple of exercises to release the back pain and to strengthen your back muscles, number one. We'll do a couple of exercises to strengthen the core because the core is the powerhouse of your body. The stronger your core, the better your posture and the better your muscle engagement. Also, when your core is stronger and you go and lift weights in the gym with proper form and technique, you will be in a much better position to avoid the injuries that may happen in the gym. All right. Now, after having said that, before I start, it's very important that when you start any kind of exercise, please do warm up. The blood circulation in your body has to get flowing, especially into the exercising muscles. The oxygen uptake has to increase because when you exercise, obviously the body needs more oxygen. So that the warm up is extremely important for that. You need to lubricate your joints and start moving. So if you, supposing for example, the easiest thing you can do these days is go for a walk or go for cycling or for a run. So if you are going for a run, make sure that for the first 5 minutes you walk and then you increase the pace and start running and not start running straight off. You'll always find that when you start running straight off, within 1 minute you're huffing and puffing because you did not let your body get accustomed to that activity and you just started straight off. So for any exercise, warm up is very important and then cool down is also extremely important for the blood circulation to go back to normal. Okay, so you guys are going, whoever is joining me in the exercises, let's just start with a very simple warm up which you can all do at home. I'm going to change the camera angle and I have a mat over here. And I'm also sitting on the chair just to give you a small warm up. Let's just begin by breathing through the nose. Sit up tall and exhaling out through our mouths. Inhale through your nose. Everybody can do it. If you're sitting or whatever you're doing, everybody can do that. Exhale through your mouth. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Now you are letting in more oxygen enter the system and preparing the body for the activities that follow. Now let's just warm up our shoulders. So just do simple shoulder rolls. Yeah, and as big as you can. As big as you can, just to warm up your shoulders. And then when you do it in one direction, you always do it in the other direction. And then you can take your arms all the way up and give your spine a nice stretch. So lengthening of the spine adds to decompressing the spine and letting everything just stretch. So all the muscles from your hips to your neck are now in a stretched position. Don't forget to breathe and then just put your hands behind your head and open out the chest. As you open out the chest, your lungs are getting more space to expand. And then take your arms forward and just press your arms forward. Now the next one is for your lower back. You need to stretch the lower back for sure before starting anything. So you're sitting up in this lengthened position. Now slowly start rounding off your back from your tailbone and just round off your back. And then inhale and then extend your back, creating that nice arch, pushing the chest up towards the ceiling and opening out that chest. And then exhale to round off that back again. Inhale to chest up. Now if you want to do the same exercise on the floor, it's called cat and camel or cat and cow, and it can be done on the floor as well. Just let me know if the camera goes off my view. So this is my extended spine, and then I'm rounding off into a camel or a cow. And then extending into a cat, push your chest up, look up, and then as you exhale, round off your back. Now this is very good for mobilizing the spine as well, because here your whole spine is moving, one vertebrae rounding at a time and one vertebrae extending out at a time. So this is a very good stretch to release your back. You can do it on the chair, you can do it on the floor, you can do it in a standing position. Now after that, let's just lie down. And all these exercises can be replicated on the chair. So if you have to ask something, just unmute yourself and ask me there and then. It's better that you ask that time itself. Now that we have started and we've warmed up our shoulders, we've warmed up our spine, just warm up our legs and our hips. So you take your leg up. Now if you watch, this is my thigh and I've actually held the muscle very tight. So this is it's called an isometric contraction of the thigh, where without actually doing anything, you're making this muscle tight and using this muscle. My toe is pointed as I lift it up, and then I flex the ankle, means my toe is now pointing towards my body, and I lower the leg down. Then inhale, I point my toe, take the leg up. Exhale, I flex and take the leg down. So this is 3 for all those who are doing with me. We are going to do a total of 10. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then you're going to switch legs and do the same thing with the other leg. So now this, you are using your hip joint. You're using your ankle joint, you're using all the muscles of your legs, right from your quadriceps, hamstrings, calves, the front of your calves. So here is where your joints and your muscles are getting activated, and this is very simple to do. Do about 10 of these, or you can take it up to 20 of these. Then the next one which we are going to do is changing legs. So I'm on my right leg and my foot is flexed. I circle from the hip joint. So now when I'm circling from the hip joint, I'm absolutely stable on this part. If I'm circling my right leg, I'm not letting my left hip move. So here is where I'm starting to work on my core muscles, which are basically my abs, back, hips. So all those who are doing this correctly will start, if you just feel, you will feel that everything is coming from your abs. Reverse the direction of that circle. I'm doing 10 on each side. But when you actually do, you can do maybe 20 on each side. And then we change our legs and do the same thing on the left leg and try to be as stable as we can. 8, 9, 10, and you're reversing it. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now our body is fully warmed up from the head to the toes. So the first part that I'm going to cover is your hip muscles. Simple exercises. There's hardly any chance of anyone going wrong in this exercise. And one more thing that you will remember always is think which muscle. In your mind, think which muscle, visualize that muscle and use that muscle. It gets much more easier and also is a good mind and body connection. When your mind is into that muscle, and the brain is what asks that muscle to move, it'll move into a better fashion, and then 100% that muscle will move. So what I believe is, if you're doing your hips, make sure 100% of the hip is in action and not your lower back. People make this mistake of doing a hip raise by pushing from the lower back. This is how you need to push. Think of hip, push your hip up and down. So think of this pubic bone going up towards the ceiling and then lower it down. Now as you push your hips up, squeeze those hips. Think about a point in between the two butt cheeks, and you have to hold that point there and then lower it down. So we are on 4. Also the breathing pattern. Every time we exert, we want more oxygen in the system. So we breathe and down. Exhale to lift, inhale to lower. Exhale to lift, inhale to lower. Just make sure that you're pushing using your hips to go up and not your lower back. You can do about 20 of these, and then just to change the position of your feet, this is the simplest. Open your feet out and then again start with the same hip raises. Again you can do 20 of these, and the third exercise that I will want to do over here is keep the hip lifted up, open and close your knees. Here you start working onto your inner thighs as well. So lift, keep that hip very stable. There's one person who's doing along with me. Keep that hip very stable, open, close your knees and feel your inner thighs and your outer thighs. Once you finish about 20 of these, hold the knees together. So squeeze the inner thighs together and then again lift your hips up and down for 20. So here are 4 exercises for your hips. You don't need any equipment. All you need is a mat. Yeah? Now, if you want to replicate the same exercise on the chair, it's a little more complicated on the chair because you want to make sure that your back is straight. When you're on the floor, the back is against the floor and it has a support system over there. When you're on the chair, you certainly don't want to be like in this hunched back position. You want to make sure you're in this position and then dip the hips up and back, up and back, up and back. So the same exercises can be done on the floor, they can be done on the chair. Once you've activated your hips and you are in a position to start your squats, then here are your squats, which are among the 5 best exercises that you can do at home. Squats involves a lot of muscles, your hips, your thighs, your abs, your back, and it's a multi-joint, multi-muscle compound movement as we call it. So you're going to keep your feet your hip distance apart. Yeah. Okay. And then there's a chair to give you a tactile cue, and you're just going to sit down on the chair and come up. Sit down on the chair and then come up. That's the simplest way you can do a squat. Remember a couple of things, that your back is always in a neutral place. So I'm going to change my camera angle and show you the incorrect version also. Before that, the knees are always tracking on to the center of your feet. So I see a lot of people who are doing squats, their knees start to go in or their knees start to go out like this. So that is a complete no. Your knees are tracking right in the center and come up. Now as you go down, think of your hips and your thighs and come up. As you go down, think of your hips and your thighs and come up. As you're pressing up, coming up from the floor, really push your feet into the floor and then come up. Okay? Now your back. What normally can happen, and I see it every day in my class, this. Now look at this. You're doing more harm than good. So the positioning of the back is very important. Straight back, lift up. So keep looking straight. Keep that chest opened up, keep your abs connected and tight, and squat down. That is why if you do the previous 4 exercises which I did on the floor to activate my hips, if you do those prior to doing squats, you are in a better position. Now Ankita, watch your knees. Your knees should not go beyond your toes. Otherwise you are injuring your knees. So sit back, think of the chair behind you and push on. Yeah, much better. Now push that hip all the way back. Ankita. Push that hip all the way back, 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 back. So it's okay if you can't sit down more. That's it. That's all. So you know what do you have in front of you? You have something like a wooden thing there. Turn the other way around. Turn the other way around. Take a 180-degree turn. Ankita. No. So you're facing me right now. Face to your right. Yeah. No, to the other side. Turn the other side. Turn. Yes. Now push your hip towards whatever something wooden is there. I don't know if it's a chair or a bed or a wall. I don't know what it is. Yeah. So you think of your hip pushing towards that side. Think of your hip touching that wall. Go. Yeah. Okay. Much better. Now come up. And guys, when you start doing squats, go down only to a level where you can balance yourself and keep the stability in your body. You're not a bodybuilder. You're not John Abraham. You're not Varun Dhawan. You don't have the tension and the stress of looking good on screen. So don't even try doing the things that they have to do. There's a difference between being an athlete, between being a Bollywood actor who has to look good on screen, between being a Virat Kohli who has to play on the field. Their line of training is completely different. We don't have to do that. We have to train for our bodies to stay fit and healthy. So do something which your body requires and your body can do correctly. Okay, don't try to just imitate everything what you see on Instagram. There is always a progression. Those people have been doing it for years and they have been training under the best and that's how they know how to do it. I seriously don't want you to get injured by trying all those things. Okay. Then the next exercise I want to do is for the back, and I really want every one of you to try it on. This will need a mat. So you're going to lie down on your mat. Keep your hands under your shoulders, elbows on the floor, and your feet are open. Just checking whether you can see me clearly. Feet are open out, hip distance apart. All you will think is a pencil under your nose, and you want to push that pencil forward on the floor and then take it up the front wall. So you're going to literally push your chest forward and lift up and then lower down. So I'm emphasizing a lot on my upper back. Lift that chest up and lower down. Lift that chest up and lower down. And then once you finish about 10 of those, stay up over here. This in yoga is called the Sphinx Pose, where my elbow is directly under my shoulder, my chest is lifted up and my neck is just stable. There is no need to look up like this. No need at all. Just be here. And then try to hold this pose. Start with 1 minute, go on to 2 minutes, go on to 3 minutes, go on to 4 minutes. This is it really works a lot on your back muscles and is a very simple and efficient pose to strengthen your back muscles. Simple. Now, sometimes people start doing this on their mobiles or on their computers, and then the whole body starts to shake. Please, please, please avoid that. Okay? Just close your eyes, focus on your breathing, and there you go. After finishing whatever you have done with your back, you need to just shift back into what is known as child pose in yoga or shell stretch in Pilates, and just release the back because you work those back muscles. Then the next exercise you can do for back is called the Superman. Now remember, when you are working the back, you want 100% involvement of your back muscles. That means the other muscles should be interacting much less. So hold your hips nice and tight. As soon as you tighten your hips, you will feel that your ab muscles have also tightened. Take both your arms forward. Keep your neck lengthened out and then lift both your arms and your legs together up and down. It's always an inhale to lift, exhale to lower. Inhale to lift, exhale and lower. Be in total control. Do not go ballistic. Be in total control of the movement and own that movement. You may not lift as high like this much. It's okay if you're lifting this much with total control instead of toppling on each side. Another exercise that I really like for the back muscles is called the reverse, the bird dog, which is, you can do it in this position. This is called the all four position, where your shoulder and your hand are in one line and your knees and your hips are in one line. So your hips are right on top of your knees, and then try to just engage your abs, like just gently squeeze your abs in, not like suck them in, but gentle squeeze on your abs so that your back stays nice and strong, and then push the shoulders down. So you don't want to do this. You want to have your shoulders in this and your back looking nice and strong, and then lift opposite arm and leg up. So I'm lifting my right arm and my left leg up and lengthening all the way up. You finish 10 and then you change side. You finish 10. If you master this move, you can go side to side. This and then my left. And then when I'm going to do this alternate, I'm going to try and not dance all over the place, like not go like this, with total control. Absolutely simple exercises for your back. Try them for 15 days and tell me whether your back felt better or no. And then I've already told you about the cat and camel for stretching the back. After you finish the back exercises or before you finish, there are a couple of exercises that you can do just to mobilize the back. So if you're here, feet hip distance apart, this is your pelvic bone. What I'm trying to do is push my pelvis towards my rib cage, and my abs will become really tightened. And then I'm going to release. I'm just going to overdo this movement so that you can see. If you see, I'm going to do this where my back presses into the mat, and then I'm going to release where my tailbone presses into the mat. Do a couple of these and you'll feel your back starts to get mobilized. Focus on that breathing. It's always an exhale when I pull in because my abs are contracting, and then inhale to release. And then the next one which you can do is from this position, start rolling up one vertebrae up, literally peeling off the floor, and then coming one vertebrae down at a time. So here your entire spine starts to move. You peel off the floor, lift, 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 and then come down, 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 down. Simple. Then the next you can do is for your shoulders and your arms, you're going to take 2 water bottles. I'm going to grab a pair of dumbbells, or actually I have 2 bottles here. And this is basically for people who've never worked out before or have, because of COVID, not been able to work out. So you're standing, take these bottles, lift and lower, lift and lower, lift and lower. Second exercise, take the bottles, lift your arms up, lower, lift your arms up, lower. Third one, lift your arms forward, lower, forward, lower. Do about 20 of these, and if you think that the weight is too less, take 2-liter bottles. You think the weight beyond that, you will have to buy dumbbells. Then one of the basic exercises that you can do as a full body exercise is the push-up. All the girls here, are you scared of push-ups? Are you scared to do push-ups? Okay, so we're going to do a modification. Yeah, I know. We're going to do a modification first, and guys who think that they are best in push-ups, check your forms. So I'm going to show you the right form, I'm going to show you the wrong form, I'm going to show you the modifications. Please, if you want to try it, put your videos on so I can check you. So the first thing I always try to do is against the wall. I'm going to use this wall and try to show you against the wall. Sorry, is someone saying something? Is someone saying?
I don't think. I think someone just unmuted themselves.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
So we'll use the wall. Place your hands shoulder distance apart in line with your shoulders. If you see this. Keep your feet open wide because wider feet give you more balance and stability, and hold this back and abs straight. You're going to push your chest towards the wall. So see my elbows angling out to the side and diagonally back. Not here, but diagonally backwards, and then push back. Push your chest towards the wall, push back. You're going to just hold that spine very straight. So I don't want you to do this. Nothing to be done in this. Straight, it's like my whole body going forward and back. Think of your body as one wooden plank which cannot twist, which cannot round off, which cannot arch off. It has to stay like that. Wooden plank going forward and back. Forward and back. This is the basic push-up that everybody can do. If you are done with that, go on the floor into an all-four position. Again, hands are shouldered, like this is the basic rule of fitness, that when we place our hands on the floor, they would always be shoulder distance apart. Okay? Your knees are here. You're going to push your chest down and up. Just go as low as you can. Down and up. See the elbows angling back, down and up. If you think you can do this, take your knees back, push your chest all the way down and lift all the way up. Now see that. Now see. So this is the right form, and then this is the wrong form. See what happened? Because my shoulders and my chest and my arms do not have that much strength, I start using the lower back to come up, and there is where the injury occurs. So you choose. If you are in, like for example in the squat, if you can't lower yourself all the way down initially, so you regress back. Same thing. Regress back. Stay here, come up. Stay here, come up. Once you've done that, go all the way down and come up. And now once you are finished with this and you can master this move, then go all out into this plank. So you push your chest in between your hands, come up. Hold that body straight, come up. Please do not do this or this. That's some of the things that I keep seeing in the gym. Okay, now there are various kinds of push-ups. People have their hands in a diamond shape. People have their hands where your elbows going back to emphasize the triceps. It just means that you're emphasizing a different muscle, because push-up uses a lot of muscles. This what I showed was just the basic form. But it utilizes a lot of muscles, so it's a very good exercise, and I've just showed you the variations. Try with the wall, try it on your knees. If you think you can do it, go into that plank position. Then the third exercise that I think is very effective is your plank. Just holding your plank. So again, hands are shoulder distance apart. Shoulder and hands in one line. You start with this position and just hold. This is the basic plank position. Then take your knees up slightly behind and hold. Immediately you will feel your ab muscles and your back muscles getting activated. This is done. Lift your knees off, lift your knees up and hold. So plank means what? Plank does not bend like this. Plank does not bend like this. Plank stays here. And see for how many seconds can you hold. 30 seconds, progress to 40, progress to a minute. A plank uses a lot of muscles and is an excellent exercise to work the whole body. So you had squats, you had push-ups, you had plank. I'm going to show you 3 more exercises as a whole body exercises which you can work at home. Oh yeah, we did hip raises. Now, progression of hip raises. We did this right in the beginning. You want to progress further? Put your legs up on the chair and then do your hip raises. It could be a chair, it could be a bed. And now this becomes harder. Done with this, single leg. One leg in the air, lift, lift. Much more harder. So these are the kind of progressions that you can always do at home. I need some help on the neck exercise. Okay, we are coming to the smaller exercises once I just finish the compound movements. Then the next one I really like, which you can all do at home, is your tricep dip. Place your hands again shoulder distance apart and then bend your elbows, come back up. Bend your elbows, come back up. Excellent exercises for your arms. Go down as much as you can with control, come up all the way with control. So keep that back straight. And then the last one I'd say is crunches. Wrong form and right form both. And crunches have a lot of variations, a lot, like there can be 100 variations on the crunches. Basic one is this, hands behind your head and think of lifting right from here, right from under your rib cage. So I'm going to place my thumb, this is my rib cage and it has a right and a left side. I'm going to place my thumb in between the right and the left side, there's a hollow. And what I'm going to try to do is cover the tip of the thumb as I come up. So this is where my tip has come and go down. Come up, my gaze is on my knees or on my belly. Exhale to come up, inhale to lower down. This is how you have to do it. This is how I see sometimes. What am I doing? Jamming the neck. So that's where the neck starts to hurt and you hate crunches. So keep that neck in this position, come up. See this? Come up, go down, come up. You're coming right from here. So these are some of the exercises which will work out your whole body and you can do them as strength building exercises. And then remember to stretch, remember to warm up. For the neck, somebody asked me neck. Can you turn, who asked me neck? Who asked me neck? Can you just show me your face, your video? Abhishek, where are you? Okay. So, the neck basically when, you know, the whole body, when you try to do something with the body which is wrong, the body retaliates back. And that's what happens to the neck. You are on your computer like this throughout. The whole day you're like this or you're on the mobile. And that's how the neck gets strained. Or sometimes you sleep on a bad pillow and it gets strained. So first of all, if you have neck pain, remove the pillow out. You don't need a pillow. Nobody needs a pillow. Let that neck go in its natural condition. Okay? Some of the exercises that you can do for your neck strengthening is, one second. Yeah. Very simple. Lift and lower. Neck, these muscles have to be strengthened. These muscles right here and behind. So lift and lower, lift and lower. And then Hetal, these are your shoulders, not somebody else's. So don't, no. Okay? Treat your body with respect and it will respect you back. So lift and lower. Be gentle. Lift and lower. This is the best neck exercise. When you can do, you think you can do 20 of these without any pain, have like 2 bottles in your hands and lift and lower. Lift and lower. So that will give you the weight and you are challenging the muscles even more. This is strength building. Now, if you already have a spasm in the neck, please do not do anything. Go to a physiotherapist. Get your spasm removed first. Okay? Then it's important to stretch your neck. There are 2 stretches. One is just sit up tall and just look onto your right and go on rotating that neck and look behind as much as you can. Hold it for 10 seconds on each side and then do it on the other side. Go as far behind as you can. Okay? Now, this was the first time you did. When you'll do it for the second time, you'll probably do it for 10 times. You'll see that the movement increases a bit more. Try it on the right again. You'll see that you can reach a little bit more. And other side. Basic neck stretches, and believe me, they are very effective. Okay, then the next one is drop the neck onto one side. So I'm dropping it to my right side. Hold it with your right hand and just give it a gentle push. So you're going to stretch all this. And the left shoulder, push it down. And then do it on the other side very gently, okay? Don't jam it, very gently. Release it. And you'll do this about 3 or 4 times. Then you can just roll your shoulders and release your neck, roll, and then a forward roll. Do it 3 or 4 times. But you've heard that prevention is better than cure. So prevent, go to the root of the problem. The root of the problem is this and this. So nowadays you get, these laptop stands which are elevated. You put them on the table and they are like on a slant, so you don't have to look down. This is how you work them. If you don't have that, even books will help you. So do that, because I know most of you are working from home and you're jammed to your computer, and this happens a lot to doctors also, because they surgeons who are always like performing their surgeries like this. It's a very common problem, and this is all it needs. But catch it at the root before the problem gets chronic and worse than what it is.
What would be a good time to do this? Is it during the day, or is it like starting of the day, ending of the day, or is it like any time?
If you think your neck is very stiff when you get up in the morning, definitely do the stretches. It'll help the blood circulation to flow. Now, if you are from a place where it is very cold these days, like the north, what I would suggest is put a heating pad for like 2-3 minutes so that the muscles get a little warm, and then start doing it. And I'm actually coming to that. Is it safe to do cardio after weights? Yes, definitely. Definitely it's okay to do cardio after weights. In fact, that's the correct way to do it, because once you do cardio, your muscles are tired and you may not be able to lift as much as you can. Okay. Anyone else with any other questions? Now cardio, coming to cardio, can we consume 3 to 4 whole? You can consume 3 to 4 whole eggs, but it also depends where you stand. If your cholesterol is high, then I would say 4 egg whites is safer than 4 full eggs. You want to avoid the yellow, or 3 egg whites plus 1 whole egg is good. It just, everybody has a different body and different problems, so it's cannot be generalized. But yeah, if you're problem free, 4 eggs is fine. So now coming to cardio. Cardio is extremely important. The best form and the easiest form of cardio would be to go for a walk. But the walk has to be a brisk walk. You have to challenge your lungs and your heart. You have to get breathless. Breathless means you've challenged your heart and your lungs and you need more oxygen. And that's how the cardio is done. So brisk walking is good cardio. Jogging and running is good as far as you have good knees and you have the strength in your legs and your core. I've seen a lot of people who started running and then started having knee problems and back issues. So just progress. Don't start running the first day when you're not even used to walking. Dancing is a very good form of cardio. If you love to dance, then dance. Actually, I wanted to do a dance session here, but then I didn't know how many of you will participate. So let's just have a poll as to who wants to do a dance session and just do it one of the other days. Other forms of cardio in the gym are all good forms of cardio, and cardio is extremely important for your lung and heart health, as we've all seen during COVID. Now, I've just recovered from COVID and this is not my normal voice, and I'm getting slightly breathless if you can hear me. This is, there is still a congestion and my lungs are still kind of compromised right now. So if me being a trainer and being into fitness for more than 20 years can go through this, then I don't know people who went through Delta, I don't know what they went through. Because this is a problem with COVID, and that is why it's very important to keep our heart and our lungs healthy to avoid, further damage. So cardio is extremely important, strength is extremely important, flexibility. These are three things which are extremely important in fitness. And I have a pull-up bar in my home. Akshay, I used to do 5 to 10 pull-ups in one go, but I moved to Bangalore last month, stopped pull-up, and now I'm facing shoulder pain after a week for... you cannot have shoulder pain by stopping to do pull-ups. Your shoulder pain is completely not related to pull-ups. If you were doing pull-ups, you lose the muscle strength in your back, but you cannot get a pain. So the pain, you need to evaluate why that pain is. Do you also provide one-to-one training sessions remotely? Yes, I do, Aisha. My heart rate goes up to 145 BPM during cardio, and my resting heart rate is around 80 to 90 BPM. Mukesh, how old are you? Depends on that. Because that is it's a complete scientific thing that we calculate, and basically 145 BPM is okay if you are under 45 years of age with no morbidities. It's okay. Like there is a training zone which we define, but it's very scientific and it's very individualistic. It depends on your age. It depends on whether you have any comorbidities like diabetes, blood pressure, things like that. You need your trainer to do it for you. After COVID, is it okay to start with cardio? In the last wave, it was recommended to wait close to... Yes, so last wave, the Delta wave was very challenging on the lungs. We saw all that. So yes, it was almost 30 to 45 days. You know, actually what I saw in the last wave, you couldn't move in the first 30 days. I mean, even going and walking to your bathroom, like now I have, when I'm climbing the stairs, I just feel a little like that. You know, the heart rate is going up and the breathing is getting hard. So in the first wave, yes, it was recommended to start only after 30-45 days, and also depending on how severe your COVID was. Some people had a lot of problems, so then you had to wait it out. But the first thing that you should start after COVID or in COVID is your breathing exercises, because there's a lot of congestion happening, you know, in your breathing passages. Like even now I have this congestion. The best thing to do is, even after, while you're into COVID, like right now in this wave, you can start your breathing exercises from day 2 or day 3 if you're feeling fine. If you're feeling fine. Pranayams, very good. There are like 5 or 6 different kind of pranayam. Start doing those breathing exercises. Those are enough cardio for the first few days during COVID, and then just start with a walk and see how your body takes. Your body is going to respond back and tell you, this I can do and this I cannot do, but don't rush. Don't rush. Treat your body with respect. You've gone through something, and believe me, it's so new for us that even we are, like now that I got COVID, I'm much more aware that what it's doing to my body, and then it's easier for me to train people who've just had COVID. So it's like when you experience something, you know how to deal with it. So, and the same case with doctors. It's so new that it's just do what your body can take up. Don't start like I used to do almost. I mean, I teach a lot of classes like spinning boot camp, which are very high intensity, and obviously I didn't jump into those classes straight off once I recovered. I also went through a yoga class, and you know, if I could take the yoga, then I stepped forward. So progress slowly. Don't be in a rush. Everything will come back. Believe me, your body will come back to you. Everything will come back. Just go slow. I started running a month ago. My lower leg hurts every day. I stretch before and after. What can I do? This is Chiranth. Chiranth, you started running a month ago, but did you prepare your body to run? Like, did you just start running, or were you always a runner? Because what you're describing, my lower leg, is shin splints, which are also known as runner splint, where the muscles on your shins, around your shins, get sore. So that is, see, that's what I just said. If you are not a runner, if you've not been running before, start walking first and then go to running. And also you need to strengthen the muscles of your legs, hips and back. It's extremely important. If you know, if you just Google and see the pictures of marathon runners' legs and a cyclist's legs, there's a huge difference. Running, when you do an activity like running, there is a lot of muscle wear and tear. So you have to strengthen those muscles. Shin splints is the most common example. You probably ran, just started running without preparing your body. You have to.
I was a runner before. I was a runner. I used to run like 4 kilometers every day. So
Okay.
I left, I stopped, and then I started again. So this is
And you
happening.
stopped for how long?
Sorry?
For
Stopped for like 6 months.
Yeah, so 6 months is going back to zero, right? Muscles atrophy happens in 2 or 3 months. So if you went back to zero, then you have to go to 1, 2, 3, not from 0 to 10.
Yeah,
So
I start with like half kilometer first, and then I've been increasing gradually.
So if the shin splints are continuing, you need to stop running and only walk and massage those shin splints.
Okay.
Okay, you need to stretch those calves, and maybe you're stretching your calves and you're not stretching the front part. You know, this is what is shins. These are your shins, and this is what must be hurting for you.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not stretching this,
Okay.
or maybe your thighs are not strong enough. Where do you stay, Chirant?
I'm from Bangalore.
Yeah, so maybe, just show it to a physiotherapist or somebody. It's one of the muscles is weak, and that is why this is happening. Do some strength training and do a lot of stretching and massage it to give you instant release. Massage it.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, just breathe. I have congestion in the throat area. What do you recommend for that? Any specific pranayam to address that? Chest is clear. Why do you have congestion in the first place? Did you have COVID, or is it just cough and cold?
I had COVID and I recovered, but looks like the upper respiratory tract has some congestion, but not the chest area.
So that is COVID. Upper respiratory is COVID. It'll be congested and it takes a while. I'm still coughing and I still have congestion. It takes a while. So don't worry. Just do your breathing exercises and go for your walk if you can. It'll clear off on its own. Also, these home remedies like the hot kadha where you make with ginger, cloves, cinnamon, black pepper, they help. They actually help. So try doing that. Try doing steam. It releases the congestion. But believe me, it'll take its time. So don't worry, it'll go away. Just do as much as you can. Can we do cardio during charms? Aparna, it's up to you. If you can, go ahead and do it, no problem. If you can't, then just do something which is easier. I got diarrhea in COVID, post which acidity and gas issues are very prevalent. What do you suggest for that? Acidity and gas issues are also very much related to what you're eating. So try to eat lighter meals, no spices, or anything which will give you acidity and gas. And yes, and I don't know if they attended, my husband was on one of your sessions last week and he spoke extensively on this, I think. I don't know if you guys attended, but anyways, I'll repeat it. An antacid has to be taken 30 minutes before your meals or 1 hour after your meals. So a lot of people take an antacid and immediately eat, then it does not affect your body. So take an antacid 30 minutes before your meals or first thing in the morning and then wait for 30 minutes. But antacid is going to cure that problem, but you need to prevent that problem by eating foods which are alkaline in nature. Nariyal pani, banana, curd. So spices are a complete no, oil is a complete no. What's the best thing? One second. What's the best thing to do to recover muscles after training? Depends what training you're doing, but as a rule of thumb, stretching completely those muscles and having your protein immediately after you've done your training is what you need to do. Everybody has a specific requirement for protein, but as a general, you need 1 gram of protein per kg body weight. That means if you are 50 kgs, you need 50 grams of protein throughout the day. Now you calculate how you're getting it. But if you're an athlete or if you're a trainer like me or work really hard on your weight training, then the protein requirement goes up to 1.25 grams per kg or 1.5 grams per kg. So calculate. The best sources of proteins are eggs, chicken, poultry, fish. Vegetarians do not get as much protein. I mean, our only sources, I'm a vegetarian, and our only sources is going to be paneer and soya. So I do rely on protein supplements, which are okay to go on. Like, people have this mindset that protein supplements are not good and this and that. But nowadays you get a lot of nice protein supplements which have come in the market. They are made in India and they are quite good. And you get vegan protein also. Some people get allergy to whey protein. There are vegan proteins also. Okay, so this is Sanjeet. Abhishek. I had some injuries about 15 years back on my left shoulder due to a slippage where I held myself on the left arm. Since then, the injury, I do feel some strain. Abhishek, I'm not sure what happened. I mean, any injury, and 15 years back ka injury though is a very old injury. It should have recovered completely by now. Probably you did not, I don't know if you did physiotherapy after that, because after a shoulder injury, there is a lot of physiotherapy to get the range of motion of a shoulder. A shoulder is a very, what do you say, it moves in all the direction, but it is the most unstable joint in our body and it can get injured very fast. So once it's injured, it needs to be put back in place again. I do not see, it's very difficult for me to comment, Abhishek, about what happened and why you cannot lift anymore. I need to see you for that. Sanjeet, is there any other question or any other thing that you would like to address?
So there are two more. I'm just sharing.
Okay.
Give me a minute.
I face severe spasm and pain around my neck, shoulder and lower back, and sometimes in the calf. I am diabetic. Is it after COVID? Is the spasm pain around the neck, shoulders and lower back after COVID? Because post COVID there is a lot of these symptoms. Like, even my shoulder feels stiff and my lower back is still hurting.
No recorded. I mean, there was no suffering due to COVID or anything.
Oh, so it's just, so then, you know, the reason for spasm is also if your body is dehydrated and does not have enough water. There could be a reason for spasm. Pain in the neck, shoulders and lower back is completely posture related. It cannot be due to diabetes.
Okay.
Yeah, so it is completely posture related. Calf, yes, can happen due to diabetes, but the best thing for diabetic is that you need to exercise to get your sugar level. You know, why are you diabetic? Because you have too much sugar in the bloodstream. When you exercise, you utilize that sugar and it goes out of your bloodstream. So extremely important for you to exercise. Extremely, extremely, extremely important. Make sure you're exercising every single day. It could be a walk one day, it could be yoga the next day, it could be strength training the next day. Divide and do, but do something. And stay off sugar. I am diabetic, so how can maintain sugar levels while working from home? I don't get time to work out during working days. Okay, this is, I get very flustered and I actually lose my patience when people, sorry for this, I lose my patience when people tell me they don't get, are you working 18 hours in a day? No. And if you're working 18 hours in a day, you don't need to. Okay? So you have to take out 1 hour for yourself. 24 hours में से you're sleeping, चलो, you're sleeping 8 hours also. तो भी बचते हैं ना. So how is it that you cannot take 1 hour out? And then there are simple exercises that just for your, you know, just for your movement, you can still, you're working but you can still do this, you're working but you can still do this. At least it'll keep your joints lubricated all the time and movement happening in your body. You know, a body is a machine. Machine का क्या होता है? When the machine doesn't work, it gets rusted. Same thing happens to the body. Same thing happens to the mind. When you don't use your mind, it rusts, and then you start thinking stupid things. So if you tell me that I do not get time to work out, it's an excuse. So don't use excuses. It's your body, you're responsible for it, and you have to take care of it. And if you don't take care of it, then believe me, थोड़े दिन में देखो क्या होता है फिर. So please work out. And it's once you start working out, you start loving it, because after workout you feel so nice. Do whatever you want to do, na. Nobody is saying आपको यही करना है या आपको यही करना है. There are 100 different forms of workout, and nowadays तो online there is so much to do. The best thing that happened to fitness during COVID is that lot of trainers emerged online, and you have so many choices. So do something. Okay, Aisha, I have a clicking sound in my right knee whenever I start working out, even if it's level 1 of workout. Your thigh muscle, your quads are not strong. The reason that you wear a kneecap and the clicking sound doesn't come is because now when you wear a kneecap, that knee joint, you have held it tight. But you need to start working. So instead of doing squats, you need to do something isometric on your quads. Look up on YouTube look up on YouTube for knee strengthening exercises. But do that before it becomes an injury. Right now it doesn't seem to be an injury. It's just a clicking sound where the bones are rubbing against each other.